What's going on, everybody? Today is Saturday, first weekend day here, August 5th of the Buoy 10 season. And boy, best laid plans go to waste. But before we get into it, I want to start with the fact that tomorrow I'm going to do the Q&A. So if you have any questions about when you're coming down, about rigging, colors, what to do, certain parts of the tide, whatever it is, feel free to submit them in the comments here on YouTube or on social media. And tomorrow morning, my group doesn't want to start until about 9 o'clock, so I'll try and get to those in the morning and write out a list of them so I can respond to them at tomorrow's update. So, like I was saying, best laid plans go to waste. We had planned on going to the ocean. We got out here at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, shoved off, and talked to a couple boats that had already crossed or attempted to cross. A couple of them turned around, a couple of them went out, and it just did not sound like very much fun. And guess what? Fishing is supposed to be fun. Weird. It's just a little tiny silver salmon, even if it is 30 pounds, little chrome bullet, little meat missile. It's not worth risking your life, and it's not worth getting seasick over. So the swell was fine. It was just super windy out there. So I talked to the crew, and they're like, screw it. Even though we know it's not going to be as good a fishing, we'll just stay inside. Well, guess what? We landed 7 fish today. Only one of them was a keeper. The other 6 had to go back. But I'll tell you what, that was extremely encouraging to see. Holy cow, that many fish. That was impressive. I was very happy to see that many fish on the graph and on the active target. That many fish being caught. It was great. It wasn't red hot by any means. It's only August 5th. But considering that, it was fun. Today was just an awesome day on the water. Had a great crew. They were having a blast. I was in the morning struggling. I was like, man, you know what? I don't know what I'm gonna do. It was my first day in the river today. It's my first day, and I didn't have the spinners I wanted tied up. I had all my ocean gear all ready. So I was sitting there on the boat tying stuff up, trying to get ready. And boy, first pass. Finally found the water temp that I liked, and boom, boom, boom. And it was the same water temp that I was looking for from last year. That's 68.5 on my graph. I don't know what it's going to be on yours, but on my graph, it was 68.5. And as long as I stayed within about 1 degree of that, I was on fish, I was finding fish, we were getting bit. And it didn't matter what part of the tide. Heck, we got bit when I was going downhill at 5.5 miles an hour. Didn't seem to matter. As long as I found the fish, they were willing to bite. So that was really cool. And finally, a lot of boats in the river because the ocean was so sloppy. Everyone kind of just stayed inside. Now, what worked today? We got half our bites on spinners, half our bites on spin fish. We got our spinners on Bronco and Mexican Hat, the old mainstays, and spin fish. We got bit on Jawbreaker, on Silver Flame, Herringbone. We got bit on Searcher, which is probably one of my favorite ones. That one's a good one. And what was interesting is that, I started off with all 2.5s because I personally like the 2.5 spin fish the best. I think they spin a little faster, and I really like that heavy thump that they give. But I was like, man, I'm just not getting bit. They're coming up. I was watching them on the active target. They're coming up, looking at it, and then bailing. So I figured I'd put on one 3.0 Searcher, which is silver, blue, Fire Tiger. So it's a blue herringbone, whatever you want to call it. And then chartreuse butt, orange belly. And I put that 3.0 out there, and boom, got one. Boom, got another one. Okay, well, maybe they want the bigger profile, so who knows? Again, like I said yesterday, as soon as you think you got it all figured out, you're wrong. What else happened today? Oh, you know what? So usually when on the incoming tide, I like to just nose into it and hold and just let the fish flood past me. But what seemed to happen today is I actually got bit much better going with the tide. I had to put a lot of throttle behind it to try and get those rods thumping. But again, don't argue with the fish. I flipped around trying to chase water temperature, and we got bit a couple times. So I turned around, nose back into it. We weren't getting bit. And maybe you should try going with it again. So flipped around, started going with it again, and there's one. Okay, let's keep doing that. So we probably had, I don't know, 15 bites today, landed the 7, killed 1. That's a pretty darn good day of fishing. None of us are starving. Yes, we're going to have to let some wild fish go. Yeah, it's going to be frustrating, especially when it's a big, beautiful bright. We had to do that with 2 of those fish today. They were just specimens, gorgeous fish. But we got to fight them. We got to get a picture, kick them back. We still got 1 to split. Excellent day. Very fun. I also promised to do rod reel line, so I got it all set up right here. So let's do it. Let's start out first with the rod. I'm using all, in fact, let me flip it around here for you. So I'm running all Talon rods, all 10.6s. I'm running all 10.6s just because it makes it easy when I'm telling people the number on the line counter to bring it back in. And I just tell everyone to go 8 on line counter. If I had different length rods, then it'd be different lengths I'd have to tell people for each station, so this just makes it real simple. They also make a 15 to 40 10.6, which I've been using out in the ocean, and that's probably the best pro troll rod that you can find. But it can handle 12, 14 ounces, 16s, 20s. It's kind of loaded down heavy, so I just went with the 15 to 50 for today in the river because I'm dealing with a really fast current at 5 miles an hour. So 15 to 50s are great for 16, 20 ounce leads. The 15 to 40s are perfect for the 12, 14 ounce leads or less. Reels. Line counter reels are a must. This one here is a Daiwa Sea Line line counter, and it is awesome. Sorry, Daiwa Saltus line counter. It is bulletproof. They don't make them in left hand, but you know what? It's hard to find a good left-handed reel that'll last out in salt water and for several seasons. Now, line is braided line, 65-pound braid 8. That is plenty strong, and use it for the diameter. It's perfect for out here. With braided line, you do have to back your drags off just a touch. Mono, you can tighten them down a little bit more just because there's stretch to it. Now, down to the terminal tackle. This little guy right there is probably the best thing that I have in my entire rig. Folks get a little bit excited and they reel in a little bit too far, and this is rubber and will stop any of your other terminal tackle from breaking out that top eyelet on your fishing rod. It's called a gum pucky. They're just an insert that you put into a hoochie, and Fishfield carries them, and I buy them by the dozens just because they're awesome. And then these are the VIP tackle line locks. You guys are pretty familiar with those. Just a basic ball bearing swivel because a lot of twisting going on. That is salt proof and just basic barrel swivel. And now what I did here is this is my bumper, and all I'm using, in fact, let me grab it here real quick. Sorry, excuse me, didn't set it up. Oh look, spinfish. All right, so for my bumper material, I'm just running 60-pound Maxima big game, and I just use a silver color. And the only reason why I'm using silver color is because when I get tangles, it makes it a lot easier to figure out which line is what. So my leader line is ultra green. The bumper material is this 60-pound big game in the silver, just so it makes it easier to untangle stuff. And I'm going with the 60-pound because I can actually tie it instead of having to go and purchase those really expensive bumpers. Just running that 60-pound, it's easy enough to tie. You're going to burn through them. Even if those 200-pound bumpers, if they get tangled up, they get all, you know, twisted up and get bends in them, and so the flashers don't quite run right. Running that 60-pound just makes it really, really easy. And then leader is just 40-pound Maxima Ultra Green. Keep it simple, right? Now, moving on. So what I did here is I got this C deck, and I had them put a ruler on here just for making leaders. Makes it real easy. I'll back this out a touch. So what I did is I set it up on 0. This is the way I measure my bumper length, is the actual line length. So not my terminal tackle, none of the swivels. So my bumper length on this one is about 20 inches. And I shortened this one up today, and it seemed to work. But as soon as I thought I had that figured out, guess what? They started biting my 24-inch bumpers. Who would have guessed, right? Then your Pro Troll, like the Pro Troll is the best. Any type of chrome, silver, anything like that works. Leader, I'll start it here at 30. So leader is that 40-pound ultra green. Again, measuring the line, I'll measure it from the bottom of the swivel to the top of the lure. And so it's about a 30-inch leader, a little bit longer on this one because this one was the 3.0 that I was talking about. And then there's a couple 3/0 owners, single points there in the back. So that is what worked today. This one's that searcher color with that silver body, orange belly, blue bill, blue fire tiger, chartreuse butt. So there you go. That was the riggings that worked today. We did anything from that 20-inch bumper to 24, 26-inch bumper. Leaders were 26 to 32, and they all got bit. So I don't know what to tell you. Nothing consistent quite yet, but hopefully that helps you. Tomorrow's going to be in the river again, starting later. Send in those questions, and I'll try and get them answered tomorrow as well. And I think that's about it. Kind of covered a lot there, but send those questions in, and I'll try and help any way that I can. All right, guys, thanks. Later.